Not really.
What is correct?
Like TH, like Catherine.
Mccaghren.
The word Catherine.
It's Irish, right?
With a Mick at the front.
Okay, so
Mccaghren.
Wow.
So when you were in Ireland, was it kind of like going to the homeland?
Yeah, it was my people.
Yeah.
I could feel it.
Like when you went there, did they instantly know how to say your name properly?
Okay. They taught me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been saying it wrong my whole entire life. I didn't even know.
They taught you how to say your name.
Yeah, sort of. We always pronounce it wrong. We knew it wasn't the right pronunciation, but it's just that's the way
we're Americans.
That's the way we say it. Yeah, that's the way we say it. All right, we're from Alabama. We'll just do it.
We're just gonna butcher it. This
is the way it is.
Dude, I was looking your YouTube channel up, and it literally took me. I was like looking back. I was like spelling it, and I couldn't get it right.
There's no way.
I was like, what is happening?
I was just saying, is it like Mccaghren? I was like, I don't really know how to say it, but I mean, maybe that's it.
Mccaghren.
I don't think Eddie knows how to say it. He always says, a lot of people say it with a PH, Mccaghren.
Mccaghren, yeah, that's how I was keeping PH, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably pretty much everybody says it.
Mccaghren. Oh, yeah.
That feels good.
Mccaghren.
Man, you sound so much more manly when you say it.
I know, right? Yeah.
You sound very scary.
Man, thank you today for the I said the podcast. Thank you for the
Thank
seminar.
you for the podcast, too.
Thank you for the podcast, too. Thank you for hanging out with us for the seminar. You know, we've had a few seminars at the gym, a variety of different people. So the one thing I noticed was that right off the top, I learned something, and I hung on to that throughout the whole seminar. Mm-hmm. So I think that was really awesome. I really enjoyed that. You guys showed one little tweak, one adjustment to a move that everybody does, or position everybody does, and I was like, oh, all right, that switches things up. So it opens up so many more opportunities, so many more kind of avenues to your game too, which is awesome. So how did you? Is there a way you kind of develop your leg lock game, or have you always been kind of interested?
I got into leg locks really early. I didn't know that you weren't supposed to do leg locks. You know what I mean? Like that never got passed down to me. We weren't at a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school, you know what I mean? And so we were grappling with like Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and MMA and Tong Sudo people mostly. And so we were grappling a lot, but it was mostly those people and then people who want to learn Jiu-Jitsu, but we're all white belts kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And so, we didn't know leg locks were bad. We didn't know you were supposed to do them. And so I didn't know much about them until I met a guy named Chris Herzog when I was a blue belt, and he's a black belt now under Eddie as well. But he's got a really extensive background in
Why does that sound familiar, Herzog?
Yeah, his name's
He's got a ref or something.
I think there is a ref named Jason Herzog.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Jason Herzog. Okay.
But Chris is in Rochester, New York.
Okay.
And he's got a really wide martial arts background. It's like he's like a 4th degree black belt in judo, I think. He's done really deep sambo background. I think he fought at Militich's camp for a little while. You know what I mean? Like, really well-versed martial artist. Okay. And he introduced me to the power of, like, systematized leg locks. So he has a really...
That's early, too, yeah.
He has a really deep reaping leg lock system. It's not the same leg lock system that you see now, like the kind of the modern Danaher-style leg locks. Excuse me. But it's old Sambo style. Yeah. But it's systematized like that. Right. And so it's easy to digest and easy to learn. And so I picked it up and just started having success with leg locks pretty early. And I got into 50-50 really early too as a killing position.
Which is the big difference between the way that like leg locks were originally done in jiu-jitsu, which is like, you know, for me coming from a more traditional jiu-jitsu background, when we first got started, we would be very systematized with the upper body stuff. It was like, okay, you go from this to this to this to this. If they do this, you do this, and if they do this, you do this, you know, that kind of thing. But because it was so negatively looked at, you know, we would learn leg locks. We all learned them. We learned how to do knee bars, straight ankles, heel hooks, all that stuff. Not the best way, obviously, but we learned how to do them some since. But it was always kind of like you don't do them. Like, you know how to do them, but you don't really use them because if you use them, it means you were too soft. You couldn't pass their guards.
It came with this
negative connotation, yeah. And you know, I mean, that's why you had like some of the World Championships matches where they were one with a toe hold and everybody throws trash on them. But the idea of a system with the leg locks is even further ahead because I mean, like that in jiu-jitsu, that's only come somewhat recently. That guys have really approached it with a system of opposed to like, I'm going to grab this and rip it. right? It's always been kind of like, that was the way. Whereas now it's like, no. Like there's this thing where I get this leg lace, I get this entanglement, and then I work my way just like I would from any other position. And I basically just, limit your options and then put myself in the best possible position to get the break, get the finish. So that's ahead of its time, about being back then.
Yeah, Herzog definitely had a tremendous influence on my game. And of course, coming under Eddie's lineage, under Eddie's guidance, everything's a system for him.
Okay.
So the rubber guard system,
Right.
the leg lock system, the truck system, spider web system, the lockdown system, it's all a system. And so, that's the way I had been learning my jiu-jitsu, basically. And so when I got introduced to Herzog's leg lock system, so we go to like you were talking about with your passing, if this, then this.
Right.
If this, then this.
Here's a good question for you, because this comes up a lot of times with questions I get online. What is because obviously, when did you start training 10th plan? Because I feel like I saw some picture of you back in the day in a gi with Hickson or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so because I want to ask you about the what you think of say 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu versus other types of Jiu-Jitsu, but let's kind of go back to your start, because I don't really know that yet.
Okay.
Because I know you're obviously 10th Planet black belt and you showed some really good stuff today, but tell me about how did you get started in Jiu-Jitsu, or at least your beginnings in it, your origins.
Okay, so I did not grow up as a martial artist or anything close to it.
Okay.
Right? I didn't wrestle in school. I had no aspirations of becoming a fighter or anything like that, right? We got into martial arts, my wife and I, because I was just out of shape and overweight. And so she sat me down on the couch one day and she's like, look, we got to do something.
Oh man, had a heart to heart with you.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's like, I don't want to be a widow for the last 20 years of my marriage,
Mm-hmm.
So let's start heading this off at the pass.
That's awesome.
So she found us a place to go train martial arts.
Hats off to
she
you.
knows I'm not going to the gym, and I'm not going to run, and I'm not going to eat right at this point in my life, for sure.
Okay.
I might be more prone to some of that now, but not a lot more prone. But I wasn't going to do any of that for sure. So she signed us up for something we could do together that we're both new at, so we could experience fumbling around in the beginning together.
Right.
And it was awesome, man. And I just got super addicted to the grappling portion of it, because we were introduced to grappling at this school. And so we would grapple. He would show base techniques, and then we would try to do them on each other.
Right.
So we just called it grappling.
Right.
And he would say that he was teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu techniques, or this is from judo, or this is from whatever, and we're gonna go at it. So pretty early on, I had a friend named Joe. His name's Joe Friday, for real.
Joe Friday. That's like the guy. What was that show?
Dragnet.
Yes.
But that's his real name, Joe Friday. He had been in it already, so he was way ahead of me at this point. And he's like, dude, Eddie Bravo's doing a seminar about an hour and a half from here in Birmingham.
Okay.
You're going to go with me. Nah, Joe, I don't have the money to go. I'm paying for it.
Wow.
He pays for it, takes me to the Eddie Bravo seminar. I didn't really even know who Eddie was too much. I knew kind of the base story.
Yeah.
I've only been training about maybe 6 months.
What year was this in?
2006, 2007. I'm not sure which.
I went to a seminar he had, I think, in Tennessee. I want to say I went to it was Eddie Bravo seminar in Tennessee in 2000. I want to say 2004, 2005, somewhere around that.
Yeah.
So I think 2005 maybe, somewhere around that. So you're there 2006. So
yeah. So I'm a total noob too. I'm 6 months in, but I'm not 6 months into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm 6 months into martial arts.
Period.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu
Right, you're doing a little bit of everything.
with killers every night.
Okay.
I'm trying. I think I am, because I don't know.
It's all you know.
It's all I know.
Right.
And so I think these guys are killers. They're probably, decent level blue and purple belts, really, though, if the truth were told.
Right.
They're killing me, dude. So anyway, I guess how I got exposed to Eddie. And then I continued training at that school that we were at. Lindsay and I both ended up getting our black belts there under Jamie Webster, awesome martial artist. In Tung Sudo.
Tung Sudo, okay.
Tung Sudo. And then, we had people fighting MMA out of that gym and stuff too. Not like big time MMA, but we were in the local scene. Yeah,
sure.
And so we continued until we got our black belts there. We got our black belts in Tong Soo Do in 2011, I'm pretty sure. And then I got my purple belt like the next month after that.
Okay.
About the
From
same.
Eddie.
From
From Eddie. No, I got all my jiu-jitsu ranks from Eddie over the years by just following him all over the country. So the whole time we're training there.
So when you went to that first seminar, where you were like, "This dude's awesome, and I gotta learn from this guy."
I gotta know what this guy knows.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because I was like, okay, so now you went to this Eddie Bravo seminar. Okay, like this is the dude. This is my guy. Okay, cool.
Yeah, right away. Right away.
What about him? What was it about that drew you in?
Just liked. Well, first of all, he was. If you ever listen to any of Eddie's stuff, he's very verbose. He wants to sit there and give you the whole gospel. Like, we're going to give you the whole gospel tonight. You know, not just a little 20-minute sermon. I'm going to preach the whole thing, you know. And I like that. I'm a very auditory learner. And so for me, like some people complain about the Danaher deal. Oh, my God, he just goes, dude, I'm in. That's my kind of listening. Oh, Ryan Hall, I can't. Are you kidding me? I can listen to Ryan Hall talk about jiu-jitsu for the next 6 days straight.
Yeah.
It's no problem for me to sit and listen to an Eddie Bravo rant go. I love it.
Yeah.
So he was my dude right off the bat. And then I liked, of course, he's very charismatic as well. So I liked all the stuff he had to say about the lack of the guard. We had been watching the UFC for a while. The lack of the guard in the UFC, especially at that time, it was like nobody even believed in the guard anymore. They're like, jiu-jitsu's dying, it's going away. And Eddie was like, nah, we're just not doing our best research and development.
Okay.
We need to be working a little harder to answer these problems that we're being presented with instead of just get better at wrestling, let's get better at the guard.
Sure.
I was like, yeah, dude, let's get better at the guard.
And so, what is you've had experience in multiple martial arts, and I'm sure other types of jiu-jitsu, styles and stuff like that. What do you think something separate? Because someone will ask me, they'll say, man, what is the difference between 10th Planet versus, regular Brazilian jiu-jitsu? And, for me, to me, it's all Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It's all grappling.
I think so.
I was like, the only difference is it's a different, like, if you go from gym to gym to gym, every gym, if the coach and instructor has really put some thought and like heart into it, they're going to have a style, right? They're going to have a type of way they approach it. You don't have to know everything in jiu-jitsu, right? But you might have a style that sort of like takes care of, for the most part.
And it informs the wholes.
Right, exactly.
It teaches you how to learn in those like bare moments.
Right. And so for me, like I always looked at 10th Planet as like it's a refined style of jiu-jitsu. It's this guy who basically came up with this stuff, and it's his style. And then obviously you have these variants. I'm sure that the way that you take that style and manifest it is differently than the way that someone else might across the country or whatever, right? Because you're a different person, the way you approach jiu-jitsu is differently. But I always considered it a different style. You know what I mean? But what do you think? Like, what do you think some of the differences from the 10th Planet system from what you've experienced in other jiu-jitsu gyms or grappling situations?
So my friend Amir, his name's Amir Alam, he's one of Eddie's black belts. He says the lockdown, sorry about bumping the mic there. He says the lockdown is not the 10th Planet gospel.
Okay.
An open mind is the 10th Planet gospel. And to me, that's why 10th Planet for me. Like, that's the part of it that appeals to me. It's not, I want to be a rubber guard master, or I want to be even a no-gi man. I like no-gi. That's what I prefer, for sure. But I'm not married to it.
Yeah.
What I am married to is that idea of if it works, it's good.
Absolutely.
We want it. Oh, Danaher's doing it? Sure. We'll take that.
Right.
Oh, Marcelo's doing it? Yep. Take that too. Oh, Chewy's got a spike pass, huh? Thank you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I want all of it. If it works, it's good. And even if you're not good, if you got something that I can learn from, I'll learn it. And I like that, man. Eddie's really like that, and you see he really like pushes that. I don't know. It's not that he pushes it. It's he encourages you to be you, like to do it the way you want to do it. And so like you look at, well, even today, just you roll with me and you roll with Matt Scaff, one of our other black belts. Might feel like we don't even train at the same place.
Yeah, different styles.
But we train together every day.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, that to me, like I've said that before, that's a sign of, to me, a good school is where you go in, because I've gone to schools where it's like, they're like hardcore traditional, and like you go in there and I'll roll with someone
And he feels just like that.
It feels like everyone. It's like I feel like I'm rolling with like these like little automatons. It's like you're playing one of those old Nintendo games. Like every guy walks at you the same exact way, and you
they're
just
non-player characters.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, like you play those little video games where you would just have to you'd have to do this one little thing, and then if you could do that one thing, you could beat each one of those little guys.
Yes,
it's like the same thing because you're like, oh, this guy doesn't know how to do this, so now I can beat every single person in this room because they don't know how to defend this. Well, like one time I went to this place and they knew full guard, but they didn't know how to deal with open guard at all. So I was like, well, I stand and pass, and they just get destroyed. But then when I go to good gyms, it's like you said, it starts top down. So the coach says, I'm open. Let's just find the music you hear and move towards that.
Yes.
And and to me, like you just said, he's not saying, hey guys, you need to have an open mind. He's leading like, hey, I have an open mind, and it's like a moth to lights, right? They just, that's the way that we're supposed to be, right? Because when they walk in, they're going to look to the leaders like that's the archetype, right? We're supposed to have an open mind. We're supposed to take what we can, and you don't just close something off just because maybe you don't agree with that guy, or maybe it doesn't come from your style or whatever.
Yes.
You take everything, and there was a good quote. There's multiple guys have said it, but they'll say it's something to the effect of, a good artist steals, like an immature artist imitates. Well, and the idea is like if you try to imitate, you'll be a cheaper version, right? But the idea is you take that thing from them, you take it, you own embrace it, and then you mash it up into your own version of it. You make your own stew out of it, and then you present it back, right? So you own it. And every good, like they talk about this in all art, and this is a martial art, right? So you take the best stuff and you take it and you steal it, make it your own, make it better, make it different, and then boom, now you got your own branded Jiu-Jitsu 10th Planet style stew. Mm-hmm. Matt has his own version. I have my own version of the stuff I've learned. Eugene, he's a brown belt. He has his own version of stuff. So I like that idea. I like that mentality.
Like you said, that starts from the top down. That's what Eddie wants. He wants the best stuff, and he wants to take that all. Oh, Brandon's got a great idea. Scaff's got a great idea. Orchard's got a great idea. Gio's got a great way. Let's take all the best of that. Mm-hmm. He's got, 100 schools or something like that globally now. Mm-hmm. Take all your best ideas. Now we got data to pull best practice from now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so, dude, I keep touching stuff. I'm so active with my hands. I want to touch everything.
I got to grab everything.
I can slap everything. But yeah, you know what I mean? We just grab the best ideas.
Matt and I were talking actually while you guys were filming. We had the exact conversation, and he was just like, I rolled with both of you guys today, and totally different.
Yeah, don't even.
You've got
feel like
his is just like all that head and arm control and all the the little chokes, and yours is kind of, you got this really leggy game, really a lot of leg weaving and pummeling and stuff, and it was like totally two different styles at the same gym. And like Chewy and I talked about it before as well. It's like it's a sign of a good instructor. You're letting people sample and play, and you're not like cutting stuff off. Like see what works.
Well, I'm not
see what works for your style too.
I'm not so arrogant that I think I got the only thing that works. Sure. What I like don't even work for me sometimes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I get my guard passed, man. If you got better answers, I'd like to see them.
Yeah, but that takes a certain level of security in yourself to say that, because I don't think that people are so much arrogant as I think they are insecure. Right? Like, I mean, because how many times have you seen people where they don't roll with people and they don't do things like, you know what I mean? Like, just like us, you and me were rolling in front of guys. I mean, I get what you're saying. We don't care. I don't care. Like, but for me, like, I've seen guys where they won't roll in front of their students with another black belt because they don't want to look bad. And it's so stupid. Because to me, and you know this as well, it's like if you're out there doing it, your guys will always respect you more because you're doing it, right? Instead of not doing it. But like again, God, you have to be secure. You have to be okay with like, look, I'm not the best dude ever. Like I get smashed. Everybody gets smashed sometimes, right? Like I'm not Hodger Gracie. Like so, I'm going to get smashed by someone. So it is what it is. But I think that it's not so much of arrogance, but there's a certain level of security you have to be able to say, like I don't know everything, and I'm willing to be open-minded and everything else.
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you respond to that? Like, say if you do have a bad performance, or somebody comes to your gym from another school and you have a really tough roll with them, like what do you do? I mean, do you think students would lose faith in your skill? I mean, that's I guess a fear of people.
I mean, I guess that's some other people's fear. I'm not worried about you coming in and having a good roll with me. I hope you come in and have a good roll with me, because first of all, I know that I'm good. I got a proven track record that says I'm really, really good at what I do. Mm-hmm. I might not be the best in the world, but I bet I'm better than you are. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And so
You're good.
Yeah. And so I lay it down.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I know where I stand. You know what I mean? So if you can come in and roll with me, then that just means you're good.
Yeah.
So that's good. I don't mind my guys seeing me roll with somebody good.
Yeah. It was fun.
They know what the score is. Trust me.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, and here's another.
I roll every day.
Yeah,
They know the score.
And here's another thing, and we both talked about this, right? Like, a lot of times people have this wrong idea. You know, this is my belief, right? And we'll talk about this a little bit, because like a lot of people, they think that the only road in jiu-jitsu, the only path that exists, is to become this really badass competitor, and then open up a gym, and then like people are going to come like, hey, look at me, I want all this stuff, you got to be with me, right?
Nobody cares.
Exactly. It's like, you know, because think about it this way, when people get into jiu-jitsu, they don't know anybody, but they don't know anything about competitions. They don't know anybody who's like, they don't know who like any of these guys are.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Exactly. But then they're like, hey, I went to this gym and this coach that was there was really friendly, and man, they helped me out. I learned so much from them. You know what I mean? And so I think that, you know, if someone comes into the gym, it means less as to, hey, when they're coming in there day to day, how much do you actually help them? How much do you give a shit that they're there? You know, because that's the stuff that matters, you know? What do you think about, like, because I wanted to touch on, one of the questions I get a lot of times from people is, do you have to compete to be good? Do you have to compete to be a good, like, gym owner or instructor or whatever? Like, the competition typically, because it's so exciting, gets the lion's share of the attention, right? But I've met so many guys that aren't the best competitors, and they're guys I've learned a ton from, because I'm like, dude, this guy's went down some rabbit hole that I've never checked, and I'm like, holy crap, he's got some really good details. Or some of the toughest dudes I've ever rolled with are guys that just don't care about competing, but they're animals, right? So what do you think about the whole competition thing to become a competitor, you know, to become a teacher or whatever? Like, identifying, basically what I'm trying to do is try to identify different paths for people in jiu-jitsu, because so many guys get in there, they think that the only thing they have to do is compete to be really good. And I don't agree with that. So
I think there's a lot of people that compete all the time that still aren't very good.
Yeah.
So I think that there's no correlation then, right? There's a lot of people who compete all the time who are pretty good. Like, there's some who compete all the time who are great. And like you said, there's some dudes who are just in the gym who are great. But there's a lot of different ways to skin the proverbial cat, I believe.
I agree.
I don't think you have to compete to be good. I do think that you need to compete because there's some things you can only learn from competing. That doesn't mean that you can't learn jiu-jitsu without competing. But I think there's some things that you can only learn about yourself by gambling your emotions in a situation, like by gambling, man, this might hurt if I lose.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to be embarrassed if I lose. I think you need to come face to face with that, because that has an education unto itself that has nothing to do with jiu-jitsu, to be honest with you. Just so happens jiu-jitsu is the thing that
It's the catalyst.
It's the avenue through which you're going to do the competition. But you need to gamble and take a chance at being sad and sore and upset and having tried your best and failed. You need that. And so I think competition is important for that reason. Not necessarily to make your jiu-jitsu clean, though. I don't think those two are necessarily related.
I mean, you just think it's important for, you know, just dealing with adversity or dealing with like a bad situation or even a good situation, like how you win or how you lose.
And look, man, it's going to teach you some things about your jiu-jitsu a lot faster.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get some holes exposed a lot faster, because in the gym, the problem with not competing and never choosing that path is in the gym, it's easy to lie to yourself about whether or not you would have really tapped. I probably wouldn't have tapped. I'll go ahead and tap, but I may not have tapped to that arm lock in that case. You know?
Right.
No, okay. Get out there in competition, and then we'll find out the truth.
Right.
Well, he really didn't have it. Well, then you should have tapped. You know what I mean? Or whatever. I don't know.
Is there any like sort of experience? Because I mean, I've like part of the channel that I go through is basically almost teasing out those experiences to help people out. Because like you said, I've learned so much about myself through the competition adversity. You know what I mean? Because again, like you said, you find a lot about who you are, because these, every one of us is kind of like a conglomeration of personalities trapped into one entity, right?
Yes, of
you know what I
course.
mean? And then, like, when you get into the stressful situations, it's like that maybe a negative side to yourself that you don't really see too much day to day because you're not in that stress. All of a sudden, it's like pops up. It's like, hey, I'm here, right? And then you have to be like, oh, I'm staring at this side of myself that I don't really care for. What am I going to do with it? Do you have any situations where you've, like, from competition where you're like, man, like I learned this thing about myself, or I overcame this thing, or some sort of story related to your competition where you're like, man, like this taught me something?
Yeah, I got a couple. I mean, I got plenty.
Well, of course. Throw it out, man. I'd like to hear
Okay, so I'll tell you about this time when I was a white belt. And when I'm talking about white belt, I'm talking about 2-3 months.
Oh.
I started competing as fast as I could. As soon as I found out there was a such thing as competition, I want to go do it, right? Mm-hmm. And so I don't know anything. I got an Eddie Bravo book. You know what I mean?
You got the original, like, okay.
Yeah, so I can't remember if this was before or after I had been to Eddie's seminar, Anyway, I got that Mastering the Rubber Guard book, and I'm learning the lockdown and the electric chair and all this, right? And so I get out to the competition, and I beat the first guy, and I think I beat the second guy, and here I go. I'm going to go with this other dude. And I get him in the lockdown, and I go to do the electric chair, but I'm so white belty, I really don't know how to do it, right? And so I'm just laying flat on my back underneath this dude, just trying to just stretch and stretch and stretch, and nothing is going, and I'm about to crap my pants. My head is going to explode from squeezing and grunting so hard, and nothing is happening. And I tapped because I was so exhausted.
Oh, wow.
I killed myself trying to do some stupid thing I don't even know at that time.
Right.
It turns out I've spent a lot of time on that later and got pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But I wore myself out, and when I hit the wall, I quit. And I didn't know that I could do that. I didn't know I could get that tired and that upset.
To where you just gave up.
To where I would just quit.
Wow.
I was really, if I looked at it now, I would say I was on offense.
Right.
And I quit.
While you were in a decent,
And I had to go and tell myself I had to pump myself up when I got home, like, dude, you're not that. Or if you are, we're going to remove that.
Right.
Or, we're going to get that out. That's never coming out again.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure it's come out again, but because
I know what it looks like.
You know what it looks like, right? Because I've been in that situation before. You get that feeling. Because I remember when I first started, I used to be really claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Right.
I still will get that way sometimes, even as a black belt.
Yeah.
Every now and then.
People get in your face and you're like, I get this feeling of almost like I don't get it so much now, but when I first started, man, I would get I would spaz out, right? I was a wrestler, and so when someone put me on my back, I would try to bridge out, I would try to spaz and get them away from it, and then once I learned out of energy, they would be on top of me and mount with their belly or their stomach and chest right in my face, and I felt like I couldn't breathe, and I would have this panic come over.
It comes from inside.
Exactly, it comes up from up here, and I would tap, and I remember my coach said something to me about it, and he was like, man, you can't simply just tap every time you run out of energy, whatever. And but I couldn't help it. But then I remember looking around the class, and I was like those dudes aren't tapping, and
they're in the same position.
And I could beat some of these guys. I'm like, wait, they're not tapping. I'm like, so I'm being a bitch. I'm tapping. I was like, all right, next time I'm going to do it, I'm not going to do it. So I remember feeling that feeling come up. I was like, deep breath. Okay, relax. It's okay. Just stay here. We're not even going to try to escape anymore. Just stay in position and get submitted, and just but accept that instead of tapping early.
Yeah, sleep in the bed you made.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's how do you think you overcame, and should be for you as well, overcoming, you said just deep breathing, did you self-talk, did you tell yourself something when you're in that situation, if you found yourself again getting ready to hit that wall, what did you do? What did you do different that it didn't happen again?
Okay, why did you gas out, Brandon? Why did you quit? Because you were so tired.
Mm-hmm.
Why were you so tired? Because you're acting like an idiot out there.
Yeah.
You got to get better.
Yeah.
Let's train more.
Yeah.
And and by the way, don't quit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't quit. Don't quit.
Don't quit.
It really is just a decision.
Right.
And it's one that has to be made ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because what we learn from that situation, I find myself now in the heat of the moment, I can't allow my decision making to be driven and tossed by the heat of passion. I get out here into this situation and I've never dealt with it before. I'm making an emotional decision. But if I can hit that, and I've seen it before, I've already made the decision. I made the decision not to quit. If you put me in a bad spot today, I made the decision 10 years ago not to quit.
Right.
I'm not quitting right now. That has no bearing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's just no, I'm just not going to do it anymore. What you said.
Yeah, well,
I'm just going to stay here and soak in it.
I think of it almost the way I've thought about it in my head is it's almost if the enemy surprises you, right, and you don't have the guards and the sentries up on the walls ready, right, then it can peek in and get in there. Like, so when we're in those situations, you got to the point you'd never been to before. You had no past experience with it, so you couldn't be ready for it. But then once you see it,
right,
you know it's coming. So then you can be like, okay, when this happens, you take a breath, or you just remind yourself, I'm not giving up today. And you basically, it's like putting those guards on the wall and be like, the enemy's coming. I know they're going to be here eventually. Be ready for them. And when they're coming, you stand guard and don't let them in.
And you can make those changes about yourself pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
Honestly.
Well, like you said, you choose, I'm not quitting.
Yeah, I quit when I face adversity. Well, I guess I need to face more adversity.
Right. When I've had bad, and Chewy can't test this, whenever I've had a bad performance at a tournament, the one thing that I want to do is compete right again, like right away, as soon as possible. For some reason, that's been the best way for me to fight my demons when I have like a bad experience. Like, I want to. Sometimes you want to run from the situation. You're like, well, I never want to be in that situation again. I'll quit jiu-jitsu or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
But some people
do that.
They do it all the time. But like, I think it says a lot. Going back to like a tournament situation, it brings things out in you that maybe you never would get in a regular training environment, because it's unknown. It's an unknown environment. It's an unknown person. You're not comfortable. It's not the stakes are higher, because somebody could take your ankle home with them, and they can really hurt you.
That's true. But has it ever happened to you? When was the last time you got hurt in competition?
Man, I don't know if I've ever gotten hurt in competition.
Probably hurt more in training.
What about you? You ever got hurt in competition?
Hurt? No, I've had tweaks, but never hurt.
Yeah.
I never got hurt in competition either. I don't think we're afraid of getting hurt in competition. I think we're afraid of getting embarrassed in competition.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're afraid of being emotionally damaged in competition, or
But here's something.
Gambling and losing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Rolling the dice.
Yes.
And here's the thing, for any of you guys listening, like, listen to what he's saying. That's so true. Like, you're worried about looking bad, okay? But here's something. You guys are watching this video right now, and Tim Spriggs has got a highlight video, guillotine, of me, like, snap me up, and I fell back, man. It's a beautiful guillotine. And
man, you're another in a long line of his highlights.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, I look good in the tournament, and then he looked better on that match. And you know what, man? It's not like it. All of a sudden, everything that you have done in the past is no longer valid, right?
Yes.
It's just
fair point.
As a competitor, we all understand this. It's a roll of the dice, man. You never know what's going to happen, and it's better to be out there rolling the dice and taking the chance rather than being scared of it. It's one thing if you don't have any urge to compete, and it's another if you want to compete but you're scared.
Yeah.
And if you're scared, just like you said earlier, like if you have that negative feeling with the adversity, right? Whether it's being stuck in the bottom of the mountain, whether it's going to competition. If it's one thing if you don't want to do it, it's another thing if you're doing it because you're scared. And if you're scared of it, you need to go chase it down and put yourself there and conquer that stuff before you say, okay, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, and then once you've done that, and once you can answer that question for yourself, like what happens when I face that type of adversity, okay, I know how to conquer that, or I know how to deal with that, then you can kind of move on. You don't need to compete anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I got to make something else clear. I don't mean to paint the picture like I'm some elite competitor. I'm definitely not that.
Right.
I competed a lot early, and then I just kind of got my taste for it, and I faded out. I competed a lot at Brown, and then I just kind of stopped.
Now, did this lack of competitive drive, did this maybe coincide with your focus on teaching?
No, because I always had to teach at my school.
Okay.
Because we didn't have any. So 10th Planet Decatur opened when I was a blue belt, a pretty new blue belt.
Okay.
And there was no other Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the city. And so that first place that we trained, I was just kind of running classes there. So we had like a 10th Planet affiliate, but we were at the Tong Sudo school. So
how did you improve being like this kind of this blue belt leading? You're being a pioneer, right? Because a lot of the old school guys like yourself, you're out there by yourself, man. And and I wasn't quite as maybe in the same situation, but I was a brown belt teaching full time, and I was the head guy. Again, and I know what that's like. But how did you progress as a guy that was a blue belt teaching and being the beacon of jiu-jitsu in that area?
It was not easy to do in some regards, but it was really easy to do in others. So it was really easy when you look at it looking back. Well, I just showed up every day, and I just trained every day. I rolled a lot and competed, and never stopped training. So in that regard, that's a pretty easy formula. But
Simple, not easy.
There we go.
Simple. It's simplistic. It's not easy.
Yeah,
though.
I say that all the time, actually. But from another standpoint, it was really difficult, man, because I had to seek out knowledge from other places, and I had to go find people to beat my tail, because I knew that was really important. Because it got to a point pretty quickly where, as a blue and purple belt, most of the people in the area, like, there was nobody that was going to out-grapple me. Because we don't have great wrestling, so I don't have to worry about some wrestler coming in and crushing my head. And most of the people who like grappling, they're much more focused on MMA, and then there's no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the city, period. So there's not a lot of people to smash them, so I got to go find people to smash me. So I was always in LA or New York with Herzog or wherever, and if I wasn't gone, then I was competing, and if I wasn't competing, then I was bringing guys in. And if we're not bringing guys in and competing, then we're rolling on the weekends. So,
did you have confidence in what you were teaching? Like, I mean, just because being a blue belt, being kind of new yourself, that you're like, I hope I'm showing them the right stuff.
As a blue belt, I had some undue confidence for sure. I don't know why anybody would train with me back then. Looking back,
there's nothing around.
Yeah, but I look back now and I'm like, oh my gosh, what a disaster I must have been. Even like looking at myself a year ago, like, oh my God, I'm an embarrassment.
Well, that's a good sign, though. I mean, that's a good sign to me. Like I say that to people, like if you feel like you were so much more improved than the person you were a year or 2 years ago, whatever, like you're on the right path. Because I mean, there's so many people that are just like the same dude because they're not seeking out any more information. They're not trying to push themselves and expand. So they're just like, I'm good. I got this. I'll stick here because it's.
I definitely don't got this. Like I'm definitely trying to move forward. I have no intention of slowing down the learning. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
That's actually maybe the only part I actually care about at this point. I like the exercise.
Do you like, so how did you get interest in Jiu-Jitsu in Decatur? Like you said, there's not a lot of Jiu-Jitsu around.
Well, that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to do MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There was just nobody in our area that was like, okay, we do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So a lot of people were
MMA.
interested, but there wasn't a lot of places.
Well, no, there wasn't a lot of people interested.
Okay.
No.
I mean, I don't think
we built it. I had another job when we started it,
sure.
and like that was 2010, so it's been a long process.
Yeah, and a lot of people you find that even get into jiu-jitsu, their interest in jiu-jitsu comes over time. Like a lot of times people get into it because they're like, I wanted to check out this thing that I saw. It seemed kind of cool, whatever. And then they get into it. They're like, oh my God, I got to do this.
Right.
But like, that's more common now. I mean, I feel like, probably, I don't know about you, back in the day, you had to like really go search for it a little more.
For sure.
Like I remember when you would get a student for a jiu-jitsu class, this dude's been like, I looked it up. I found this stuff online. I already know who all these guys are. I'm ready to do
Hoist
this.
Gracie signed my white belt.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're all ready to go. Let's go. Let's do this thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like being I think we always had. I mean, we had options here in Louisville. We've always had some options.
You guys did when you came in. Yeah, like when I first signed up, we had a purple. I learned under a purple belt. We started off in a gym, like a weightlifting gym, and we would put puzzle mats together inside, like right next between the bench presses and the
every
squat.
class.
Yeah. So we'd have to go out there and we're in there, and these dudes are like friggin' flexing and stuff, and they're we're in the middle of this thing around soccer moms and these big just juiced up monsters, and they're like looking at us, what the hell are these guys?
Why are these dudes rolling the floor,
what are they
sweating
doing?
each other?
And then the only other gym was. There was another gym that was like a traditional Gracie style gym, but I came from a wrestling background and I wanted to fight mixed martial arts, so I was like, I gotta compete. That's what I want to do. I loved the thrill of competition at the time. I was like, I gotta compete, and those were my choices. This one they competed, and so I was like, I'm gonna train here. And that's why I trained.
Did you all ever get like challenged by? I know you did. So we'll ask you about that in a second. Did you all like at that gym? Did you ever see any of the bodybuilders come over and like try to grapple with you guys?
They did. They kind of thought it was kind of cool because they're like, man, what is this thing? And it was funny because they'd come over and they would just die in like a minute. Like there was one dude, man, like.
It's so funny.
There were these three dudes. I used to call them Big Bastard 1, 2, and 3. I couldn't remember the names, but they were huge. These guys were like, one guy was. I mean, the small one was like 260, and I'm talking about just yoked to the gills, friggin' just traps from shoulder to neck to ears. And they came over and rolled before, and I remember like they just were exhausted after 1 minute. They would like whatever. They just take their back, choke them, done, and then they never came back. And then every now and then we would get we get MMA guys that came in, or there was one time we got this guy with tabby boots, the like ninja shoes.
Oh, nice.
The ninja shoes. Yeah, he was in the getup without the mask on, but he came in his like little ninja getup, and he was like, yeah, I've come to learn this, jiu-jitsu, whatever. So he comes in there and he's like doing these poses, like you're trying to grapple him, and he's like rolling away from you and stuff. Like, get over here, man! Like I'm trying to grapple you.
Oh man!
Is it the silk that he was wearing? You just slipped right out of your hand.
No, man. Like I'm talking about, like imagine trying to grapple. Like if you're in your position, right? You get your elbows tucked in, and you're moving forward. You're trying to like get a head and arm tie or something.
And he does a cartwheel.
Yeah, and he's like off to the side, like he's doing like a front roll. And you're like, what is he doing?
All of a sudden he jumps down from the ceiling on you.
Well, and for me, I'm like this like little I'm an insecure young guy who's like a wrestler, so I'm trying to kill everyone, and so I'm looking at him like, what's he doing? So I'm like chasing him down. At one point, like I remember I ran out there and like tackled him, and then I put him in a kimura, and I'm like holding it, and it's like getting far back, and I'm like, I even as big of a shithead as I want to rip someone's shoulder out. So I'm looking at my coach. I'm like, what do I do? And he's just like, you're good.
If he dies, he dies.
Well, no, he told me to stop. And then the guy gets up. I didn't tap. I was like, no, man. We're trying to save your shoulder. USA. Oh, man.
So, Brandon, when Chewy said that you were going to come out, and I was like, where have I seen your name before? Like, I saw you somewhere, and then I realized the other day that you had that video that has like 1.8 million views of some wrestler coming into your gym.
Oh yeah.
So I want you to kind of tell us about that
story.
The important thing is this: we were kind of talking about it a little earlier, and we kind of talk about respect and stuff, and other people's dropped by the gym, but like this guy had come in the middle of
he was training. Poking the bear, right? Just
so.
Is this your first guy running with this guy ever?
Yeah, like that.
Oh wow, okay.
But I mean, we knew who he was.
So
he worked out in the gym.
Yeah, give us a little background on the situation.
So let me say,
set the stage.
We really shouldn't call him a wrestler.
Okay.
He wrestled in high school.
That's all right.
I mean, but what else are you gonna call him?
I don't know. That's what he called himself, and so
the one thing he wrestled like a year in school. I'm a wrestler.
Something.
Yeah.
I think he said he had like 4 years of wrestling.
Okay,
that's good.
So which is
not
enough
dude.
wrestling.
Talk it up.
Well, no, I don't want to make the dude feel bad because he
should.
Well, I won't tell you. I'll tell you off the air how he's back in my life in an interesting way.
Okay.
I won't tell you now, but yeah, he was just like We at that time we were in our second location, and I think I was a brown belt when that was made. Maybe I can't remember.
It was
exactly.
like 14, I think, maybe 2014.
Yeah, so I know I wasn't a black belt yet, but I can't remember if I was a purple or a brown belt. But we were in that second spot, which is where I spent most of my purple and brown belt training years.
And what was that second spot?
We were inside of Bender's Gym, which is a 24-hour facility. So
so you're like us back then. Okay, cool.
And we had the old yoga room. We matted it out. Put pads around the outside, took all the mirrors out. All right, just go in there, close the door, and sweat. Good job, guys. And so, but the workout facility out there is there's always somebody coming in and testing me because, look at me, dude. I'm not the most imposing figure.
Yeah.
I don't cause you to tremble in your boots. And so some 230-pound dude that's been lifting forever and he's jacked sees an opportunity to flex on this little 5'8" dork. He takes it. And so people were testing me all the time. I felt like it was every week somebody was testing me, and this dude was testing me, and so I just brought him on in and let him sign the waiver and gave him what he was asking for.
So what was his goal? What did he want to accomplish?
Well, he brought all his friends in there so he could beat me up in front of them.
Oh man.
Okay.
And I just didn't go that way.
So you had class going.
Yeah.
Class was going, so you stopped class and everybody kind of just...
Yeah, and I just initially I didn't stop class. I was just like trying to, let's do it after class. Because I don't mind challenges like that. I really like them, to be honest with you.
Because it makes
I
you
just
look
don't want
good.
to interrupt class.
Right, because I'm here to teach people that have, they're here for their 7 o'clock class. They want to get
their instruction, not watch the Brandon show.
Right.
So how did he impose?
Which I like to give the Brandon show. Let's go lie about it. I like when it's the Brandon show. Everybody watching me. Everybody say nice things about me. I like that. That's good.
Sure.
But it wasn't the right time for the Brandon show. But I think it was time for the the Brandon show. I guess.
So you tried to defuse the situation.
Yeah,
He
it
was
wasn't
like,
really even a situation. He keeps going and keeps yelling at me while I'm trying to teach.
Yeah.
So it's
What's
not
he
like
saying?
he's like, I'm about to kill you. Like, he just, yo, we're going to do this. He's just standing at the door.
Oh.
Hey, man. Yo, I'm ready. Let's get it.
So eventually you just like, all right, let's
All
roll.
right, okay, yeah, come on, let's get it. I'm trying to teach class, dude. Not right now. Not right now. All right, fine.
And so when you guys roll, was it just like a regular roll and then you just submit him, or like what?
No, he was really bad. He was bad. I just tapped him a lot. I mean,
He's
and he wanted to keep going.
he just wanted
He
to
tapped
keep
him,
going.
and he was like, "Well, what?" So, dude, he's like, "Lucky. That was lucky."
Well,
Try again.
see, that's the thing about jiu-jitsu though. Like, 'cause, like you said, like
it feels lucky sometimes. Because you don't know.
You know, because if you get someone like, for instance, with your skill level, I'm sure you were, heads above this guy. You can just very fluidly, without a ton of effort, just put someone into some lock and be like, "I got you." And it doesn't feel like they're almost exerting, so it almost feels like they just sort of slipped into something, right? It's like, let's go again, and then do it again. Like, I've rolled with guys that almost felt like, I remember like when I was younger, I had to come to grips with that because, a lot of times there would be this physical exertion that I would feel on their part. I'm like, okay, he got me that time because he was really squeezing whatever. But then there would be guys that almost like I was trying to push into water. Like, I was pushing in and somehow they were just
That's
going,
what I want.
Oh shit, I got caught. Like, let's go again. You just caught me in something. But it's like magically they just got a lucky catch every single time. I was like, maybe it's not lucky.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way that they roll, and they're very fluid. And it's hard to accept that, like, you can't, with all your muscles that you built up, with all that strength and power, it's like, it's no use and you can't do anything.
There's nothing, it's done you no good. All of that muscle has done you no good.
Well,
and that's not always true. Like, that guy with some
training.
2 years of training was
Sure.
a beast, dude. you know?
Yeah.
But
So, like,
unfortunately, I've been training for dudes like that for a long time.
Yeah.
That's the dudes I'm
so
looking
with that
for.
video, like, what was kind of the goal? Like, when you put it out, what were you trying to?
I was trying to embarrass him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was. I mean, I was trying to make me look cool, trying to embarrass him.
Brandon
Well, he
show.
deserved it, man.
I think he
deserved
did.
it.
I think there's
But I didn't call his name in the video,
Yeah.
and I didn't tag him on Facebook, and it's not important
How
who
did
he is. It's just like,
He
look,
knows.
dudes, look, guys, stop coming in and doing this. And we haven't had too many challenges since
That's
then.
good.
How did the situation end? Do you like
It
apologize?
ended rather. So I put him to sleep at the end of that
Oh
video.
shit!
I put him in a go-go plata, and he passed out. And so I was like, all right, that's it. We're done. And I go and just, I'm walking him over to his friend. All right, here we go. Come on, guys.
He's all right,
Come
yeah,
on. Yeah, take him out. And they're all like, and one of those guys ended up signing up.
That's awesome.
Oh, great.
Yes.
And he said at the end it was fine. I made it. He came in the next day and we talked. I told him I was going to put it online, and he was like, all right.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's, I mean, but again, just like saying, like, I mean, what a powerful lesson for that dude. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah, well,
awesome.
he said he wanted to sign up, and he just never came back after that.
I wonder
We
why.
saw him in the gym. He didn't quit coming and working out or not.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like as stressful of a situation
Yeah.
as it could have been.
Right.
But I was irritated for sure.
Yeah. That's the way it was a lot of times with.
I'm trying to
with
downplay it a
videos.
little bit, keep him from sounding like a
Right.
total jerk, but he was out of line for sure.
That's how we would have a lot of the guys that used to train us because along with those big like bodybuilder types, we'd also have these pro wrestlers that were there.
Fantastic.
Well, so Ohio Valley Wrestling used to be a big feeder place for WWE, right? So we would have there was this gym where I guess this is where they were all working out. So you would go in there, man, and you'd see all the guys like a year before they made it to the WWE. You'd see them there working out, and you knew who they were, right? Because it all hang together. And I remember they'd be in the working out, and some of them had some wrestling experience in high school or college, so they'd come do it sometimes. And I remember they'd come down there, and again, same thing. They'd get crushed, and they'd be like, "Man, I'm going to be here soon. I'm going to be back here next time, and this is awesome." And then you'd never see them again, because again, it's like it's a hard place to say, "Man, I'm this big, powerful person. I'm big in my thing, and now I'm going to come to your world where like
I'm a beginner again.
I'm a beginner. There's for instance, I was talking to one of our guys is a lawyer. And we were talking about how, you get these guys that are doctors or lawyers, guys that are pretty successful, outside, monetarily, right, in society. It can be hard for them sometimes to come into a place where it's like, okay, like you have to come. Like you're this big high power guy. You're driving the big Mercedes or whatever. You're doing all this cool stuff. You're like a guy that people look up to, like, oh man, he's got his shit together. And now you're coming into a place where a 15-year-old can tie you into a pretzel. There's not a damn thing you can do about it.
It might be a girl that
and it might be a woman, right? So it's like, what are you gonna do now? It's like, can you accept that? You know, because that's hard for some people because they can't drop that ego because they're like, man, I'm so good out here, like I can't take this. You know, or you get guys that were wrestlers or football players or something where they were big stuff at one point in their life at something athletically, and then they come in and then they have to basically lose that, and they've got to be, they're no longer the star quarterback, they're the random guy at the bottom of the totem pole.
I think that's what I see a lot in why police officers don't train.
Yeah.
And of course there's a lot of police officers who do train, and we have a lot of police officers who do train.
But not enough do. I mean, I feel
almost
like
none. It feels like almost none do.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, because we have some, but to me, it's like, man, if I was a police officer, you bet your ass.
This would be the most important part of my day every day.
Absolutely.
You know, like you got to know how to use your weapons, and your body is your first weapon.
Right. Well, but see, the thing is,
it's got to be it's your first line of defense. You can't pull your gun as your first line of defense in most situations. You can't pull a taser as your first line of defense in most situations. I need to be able to diffuse this with my hands without hitting you. What does that sound like?
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Absolutely. Right. There was a good video of my buddy Ruben Alvarez.
I know Ruben.
Yeah, Ruben. So like,
how do you know Ruben?
So we were at a tournament when he was a teenager. He'll hook me.
Dude, he's a little monster.
He was good. So we were at a tournament, and him and I were working up the absolute division, and I met him in the semis. And really nice dude. He caught me in a good leg lock, and I've kept touch with him, and we've kind of like touched base here and there. Good dude, and he's a police officer. And there was a video of him where basically he's got this guy basically pinned him down, and he's just like holding him. He's like basically got him all tied up, and he's like waiting for backup. You know what I mean? And it was just like, dude, look at that. Like, if that guy was inexperienced, had no grappling experience, he would have had to deploy a tool, which is what they're typically trained to do. You deploy weapons, you deploy tools, right? And you just work up the chain, right? But he didn't have to. He was like, I got you, dude. Just chill. You ain't getting out of this. Like,
and it was a much safer
much
for both
more
parties.
Absolutely.
Nobody's going to get in trouble. Nobody has to get hurt. Maybe get scratched up. Maybe get a little sore. But ain't nobody hurt. You know.
It depends on the individual, I think. I mean, cops are people. You know, they have personalities. They have egos, stuff like that.
Sure.
And so the guys that we have at our gym are just naturally. They seem very, very just laid back. No ego. They seem like they treat everybody kind of. I'm not saying there's different people. There's assholes in every single line of work. But there's good people, friendly people. They're humble.
But how much of that balanced ego, because we all have an ego, right?
Sure.
But how much of that balanced ego that they possess, how much do you think came from basically being in a situation where you have to balance it, where you're forced to every single day you come in, where you didn't have the ability to be like, I'm the best dude in here all the time, like, look at me. Like, where you come in and you're like, man, like, I got my ass kicked today, and that's okay. Where you have to balance it.
Well, you're not above anybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're on the same level. They're equal playing field.
They're steeped in reality. So now they have to go out there, and when they go do their job, they're like, they don't have this feeling of, I've got to be better than these people, or I have to beat someone up, or whatever. They're like, no, man, I don't need to do any stuff. Like one of our guys, a good example of this, is he's an MMA fighter. His name's Randy, called Rando. And he had a guy where he's chasing him down, gets into a fight with the guy, right? And the guy's like trying to punch him, trying to hit him with a brick. At one point, he's like trying to grab his nuts and pinch him, right? And stuff, all this crazy stuff. He gets the guy, and pretty easily he's able to detain him, gets him cuffed up, he has to take him to the hospital afterwards just because he had a few scratches and they have to get him looked at. So the guy's he was like messed up on something, and he kind of wakes up from it, and the guy looks at Randy, he's like, man, I'm sorry. And then Randy's like, it's cool, man. It's like, it's whatever, dude. And in that situation, it could have been a lot worse, but Randy was able to control it very easily because of his skill and training. And Randy even dropped the charge because I guess he could have charged him with something worse, but he's like, nah, man, just charge him with this like lesser charge. Like, he's like, the guy was just messed up. It's a mistake, whatever. He should have been doing what he's doing. But, I think in those situations, it could have been a lot worse because he didn't have the physical training where he would have had to take it to that next level, whatever. He didn't have to. And at the same time, he didn't feel like he had to like bust someone up afterwards because he's like, nah, man, I do this every day. Like, I just want to get you to chill out so I can go on.
That's important too. He didn't feel the need to injure him because he's been in that situation. Right. He knows what that injury already feels like. And you got to be a pretty nasty person to have somebody like a Kimura, for instance, to have it at the point where I've got you controlled. You're not going anywhere. It's not a competition. It's not life or death. and just to go, I'm just going to take it anyway. You got to be a pretty nasty dude.
Yeah.
How much training do you think would be sufficient? I mean, I think it's very, very, very.
I don't think that's even I don't even know if you can start to answer that question. Here's the only thing I think that matters. Hours. Just hours. So I think when we talk about how do I get to this level? How do I get to this level? How often should a woman train if she wants to be self-defense ready?
Sure.
How long should an officer train before? Hours.
Yeah.
That's the answer. As many as you can get. The only amount, there's no 6-week program. You guys know this.
All
There's
BS.
no 6-week program. There's no 2 years and you'll be a blue belt. Those things don't exist. There's hours. And that's the only truth that there is I put in the time or I did not put in the time. And so I'm just in the business of putting in the time. And if people want to mess with me, then they put in the time, and if they don't want to mess with me, then they don't put in the time.
Well, and
at our school, that's just the way it works.
It should be something, if you're a police officer, right, or if you're a woman that's really, if you're really worried about your safety, it should just be some ongoing thing. It should be just like eating decent food. It's not going to be like, well, I'm going to diet for 6 weeks and I'm good, right? No, we're it's a lifestyle, right? And the same thing is if you're worried about your safety,
way of the
it's a way, right? So we just continuously do it. It's not, there's no end to it. Are you going to stop being a police officer in the next 6 months? No, just keep going, just keep training. Are you going to be a woman that's going to stop being potentially threatened in some situation? No, you're not. So just keep going. And are you, in all these things. So it shouldn't be something that you look at it well, how long do I need to do just to get the bear? No, just keep going. Just don't stop.
I was in, every Tuesday and Thursday, I've been going down to Birmingham to Spartan MMA. It's an SBG school.
Okay.
And Chris Connolly is the black belt down there. Awesome guy. But my buddy Eric Anders, he's in the UFC. And then Walt Harris, he's in the UFC. And then a couple other guys. I've been going down there and helping them with their jiu-jitsu.
Cool.
Getting ready for these 2 fights. So Walt's fighting Arlovsky at the end of December.
Okay.
He's a big dude.
He's huge. 290 is what he walks.
Oh my God.
290 is what Chris told me. I was saying 270, and Chris was like, no, try 290. So he has to cut 35 pounds.
Didn't he fight? Oh my God.
He fought Verdum.
Yes, he fought Verdum.
Toasted him on the ground.
Took him down, right.
Sorry, Walt.
Well, Verdum's pretty damn
Well,
good.
come on.
Verdum's
really good, yeah.
And then Eric is fighting Elias Theodorou December the 8th, I believe. Anyway, we were at practice Thursday morning, and Chris was giving them all the big, dude, this is a great squad. You guys are, he's giving them a pep talk.
Yeah.
And he goes, and let me tell you why I like you guys, because none of you are fighters. I don't have fighters in my tribe. Too much drama from fighters. So you guys are martial artists, and you happen to want to fight too, and that's why y'all are in my tribe. And I was like, yeah, that's the point that you're talking about. A martial artist trains. Got a fight coming up, you train.
Yeah.
Don't got a fight coming up,
Train.
You train. Got something going on in your life, you train. Got nothing going on in your life, let's train. Hours. It's about the hours. And as soon as it's not about the hours anymore, it's time to do something else. You know what I mean? It's just the hours.
Yeah. Well, just like you can't be a cop and I think be out of shape. You got to be in shape. You got to keep yourself in shape. It's just like you got to go put rounds in. At the gun range. You got to be sharp. So I think
if you want to be good at anything, it's just the hours.
You're right.
It's
You're
just the
absolutely
hours.
right.
I didn't have a teacher every day standing over me telling me what to do, but I had the hours. You know what I'm saying? And you can have a teacher. You got a purple belt standing over you every day, but what did we have in common? We got the hours.
No, you just go in.
You don't need a world champion standing over you every day. You need hours. You don't. That's great if you do. That's awesome. But you don't put the hours in. It don't matter who stands over you.
Exactly, because you got to put the work in.
It's all on you. It's the hours. So
Man, yeah. I mean, have you learned anything from going to these training camps, working with some of these UFC fighters, as far as how do you change up, maybe your jiu-jitsu or your coaching or your training?
It doesn't change my jiu-jitsu too much, to be honest with you, but it does help me to see your jiu-jitsu a little better and to see oh, that's why Chewy does this a little bit. Like working with guys who have, they may only have 2 minutes to work this thing if it gets to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They have to work with a different sense of urgency.
Yes.
And it's not the punches that change it to me, it's that sense of urgency.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I watch them struggle with this, as I see this, or I watch them succeed with this, I can take that, and that informs me a little bit about the way that you might do jiu-jitsu, or how I could help you, or help you, or help you. But it doesn't change my jiu-jitsu too much. I learn more about wrestling, but it doesn't do much to my jiu-jitsu to train with those guys.
As far as like strategy goes, is there anything like, for Walt, for example, you're going to try to, maybe...
Dude, we're on top. Walt has got to stay off his back. Any fighter, you want them to keep them off their back. But Walt, we want to stay on the feet. And if he stays on the feet with Arlovsky will sleep on December 29th.
Wow.
Walt hits like a truck. He's a very scary, intimidating dude.
Yeah.
Except that he's also super cuddly. So it's not that scary. He's like, you look at, oh my God, it's Walt. Oh, Walt. And you just kind of nuzzle up next to him. He's a little huggy.
Yeah.
I like him. It's my kind of dude. He looks terrifying, but he's snuggly.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, as far as like 10th Planet style jiu-jitsu as well, like, do you feel like you guys are kind of like maybe outcasts in a way, or do you feel like there's a separation between traditional jiu-jitsu and...
I used to feel that way.
Okay.
I definitely do not feel that way anymore.
Okay.
My world really changed, or my feeling about the overall jiu-jitsu community has really changed a lot since Hoyler and Eddie had their second match. That really changed the way that people talk to me that were from outside of 10th Planet.
Yeah.
And then I started getting black belts coming over for private lessons on the sly.
It's like it validated us in some way.
Yes.
It's like I did this 10 years ago. I don't know if you guys saw that first match, right?
Yeah.
It's there was a funny story like several years ago. One of my buddies was selling some mats, and some guys from a 10th Planet gym came up to pick him up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so he came up there and he arranged this. I didn't know who the guy was, but he came in and he had like a 10th Planet gym shirt on with a hoodie. And I think this was actually before the Hoyler match. He comes in and he like looks around and he goes, I better zip up my hoodie. And he zips it up, and I was like, and I asked him, and I was like, why? He goes, yeah. He pulls it back down. He's like, shows, and he's like, 10th Planet. I was like, dude, I don't care. I'm a white dude in Kentucky. I don't give a shit. It's all jiu-jitsu to me.
Yeah.
Have you ever run into a weird situation like where someone was like, oh, 10th Planet?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, really.
It used to happen a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Really aggressive sometimes, actually.
Like
especially at tournaments and stuff.
Okay.
Really aggressive.
You don't have to say names, but were there any like kind of times where like it stand out like this dude was crazy? Like this.
I never really know names. You know what I mean? Like every now and then I'll deal with somebody. You'll deal not that much anymore, like I said, but you would deal with somebody online is much more likely. Somebody like come after you on a forum.
Well, sure. I mean,
like
the people are lame.
But in person, that would happen at tournaments and stuff sometimes, for sure.
Wow.
That people would just, be aggressive and like try to get in your face and stuff about it. And it's just ridiculous.
That's so bizarre to me.
It's not though. It's culty.
It is, but to me, like so. But to me, I mean, there's a certain level of like people being hypocritical.
It's ridiculous, but it's to be expected.
Well, what I mean is like, okay, for instance, like in jiu-jitsu, it's like, okay, the jiu-jitsu guys, if they were to talk to, say, these traditional martial artists, right, like karate or, whatever it is, right, they'd be like, dude, you need to keep an open mind and learn this grappling stuff, right? But then you've got this other guy that's doing grappling, just a different style, and they're closed-minded. I'd be like, well, wait a second, you're doing the same thing that you're telling these guys not to do. You know what I mean? Or even I've seen where, like, guys will have these really bizarre, like, it'll be on Instagram, right? And it'll be some really flippy upside down weird move that I've never seen anyone ever hit. And it looks cool. Like, I'm like, it looks neat. But it's like got a million different moving parts. And, for me, I don't know, I look at it in a certain way, like where I'm like paying to work.
Yeah, I feel you.
And I'm like, you guys are he's crawling around. You guys are like just like the martial art is doing like katas, right? Looks cool, but I don't know if it's gonna work. Right? Like, to me, it's like, again, going back to, like, some of the jiu-jitsu guys will try to, like, poke fun at some of these traditional martial artists, and I'm like, you guys do the same stuff. You're doing the same shit, man. Like, you're being closed-minded.
Well, it's like what we were talking earlier about how some black belts they want, it's insecurity, right? And I think that's where the aggression comes from too. It's from that same insecurity, because it's always those kind of people, those kind of people that they criticize other gyms.
Yes.
They don't compete. They're hardcore on their people to compete. They're going to live vicariously. They got to validate themselves to their own student. It's always people like that. Always.
Yeah, because the guys that put on the line, they're like, I'm good, man. Like, you know, I don't need to. My things that I've done speak for themselves. I don't need to like tear down someone else's accomplishments or whatever, you know, to do that. Because that stuff's just, you know.
I don't have to criticize somebody else. I put in the out. You guys see me on the mat every night. You know who I am. You know where I stand.
If you'd like to come roll, come on down.
Let's come on. Let's do it. And that's what I said at the end of that video. I'll come on down. So people have come on that wrestler video because if something gets 1.5 million views,
you're gonna get some shitheads.
You get a lot of comments, right? And so people be like, yeah, well, I'm going to come down and show you. And I'll just put the gym address. 108 Linwood Road.
Come on down.
No invitation required. The doors are open. I'm there every day. Come on down.
Come on down into Brandon's.
Has anybody done that?
No.
People on the internet are not real people.
No.
Well,
like if you're like, the thing is if you're going to get online, and if you're one of those people that gets on YouTube and starts like shitting on someone else's thing, dude, you're weak. You know, like, dude, you're a weak human, man. Like, it's
anonymous YouTube commenters are the scum of the earth, dude.
well, you know, it's funny because I remember when I first started doing this stuff. Obviously, I'm up here in front, right? And, you know, when I started doing some, I used to get some really, you know, I still do from time to time, get some nasty comments.
Yeah.
And at first, when first couple times, like, kind of bothered me. Now I'm just like,
it used to bother me really bad.
Now, though, I'm just like, you know, I laugh. I'm like, dude, if you're miserable enough to, like, post a comment like that, I was like, man, your life must suck. I was like, because I don't have any inkling to want to, like, project negativity on anyone. I'm like, look, you do your thing. Like, you know, even if I don't necessarily like what you're doing, like, I'm not going to go, like, bah at you. I'm going to just go do my thing. And to me, it's like, if let's say if we have a disagreement about something, I would not make the approach of, I'm going to go shit all over you. I'm going to, like, look, I'm going to make my light brighter, and I'll attract more people that way, rather than trying to, like, you know, make your light dimmer.
Snuff out the light, and now none of us have it.
That's right. You know, like, I'll do my thing, you do your thing, but, you know, so... I
was really sensitive to it in the beginning. When I first started doing online stuff, I had to take a break for a little while and, like, recompose myself and rearrange what my expectations were and how I, you know what I mean? Like, just how I'm going to deal with criticism as a man moving forward. You know what I mean? Like, I got to sit back and, like, I hit adversity. And the same thing, I could hit adversity, I could quit making these videos. I could hit adversity and quit in the middle of this white belt match, or I can hit adversity right here and I can quit doing the thing that I set out to do, or I can hit adversity and I can go, you know what, I'm going to have to make some changes. I got to rearrange. Clearly the way I'm doing it's not working for me. Yeah. And that's what I did. But yeah, I was super sensitive to
What kind of stuff? Like
anything, dude. I'm just a little baby. That's what it really came down to. I'm just a sensitive little
turd. Any criticism?
No. See, I don't think it's a baby thing. It's one of these things where when you're putting yourself
out, being nice. No.
Because
that's what it was.
Because here's the thing: you have this thing that you've dumped your heart and soul into.
This is my sword. This is my blade.
It's
my
you.
Soul lives in it.
To me, it's your art, man. It's
it's true.
You're now presenting it to the world, saying, "Listen, I've basically dedicated my life to this thing, and I'm going to give you guys a little look at it. What do you think, right?" And for the most part, most people are pretty like, especially when it's good. If it's good stuff, most people can see that it's good. They can see that it's quality. They're like, that's pretty good. I like that. But then you get people that are just like, you know, they're just trolls that are looking to like make someone upset. Because again, it's like this thing where people want to like see like, they want to poke you. I'm like, did I get a reaction? Because like I'm miserable, so I want to see if I can make someone else miserable. Boom, poked you. Can I make you miserable too? And when you're touching something like that that's so meaningful to you, and someone shitting all over it unnecessarily, because a lot of times you know there's no merit to it. It's just, if there was merit in criticism, you'd be like if someone said, "Hey, Brandon, I can't see how that works. Can you show me more?" Like, well, let me think about that. Right. Yeah. But then if they just say something negative about it, then it's just like, then that's the point where you're like, man, this is this thing that means a lot to me, right? Like you can talk, don't talk bad about this thing, right? Especially like that. And so then you have to remember that, like, okay, these people, like, their opinions really don't matter because all these people were helping, you know, or if they have real criticism, that's one thing. Or the people that are helping, those are the most important messages. The one troll that you get for every, like, 100 messages.
Yeah.
Whatever. They're just trying to be
now I know
people.
that, right?
But I don't think it's you being a baby. I think it's you sharing something that's meaningful to you, and then people are, and shitting on that. And that's a hard thing to deal with at first.
Yeah, and look, it didn't happen a lot. I don't receive very many
No, of course
comments
not.
at all, to be honest with you. Way less than you would think that somebody would receive for putting basically something out about themselves every day.
Right.
Very few negative comments, but I didn't like the ones I was getting.
Yeah.
Hurt my little feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to sit back and reorganize my insides a little bit.
Well, just like the
and
competition.
I had to harden up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, well, look, this is the price you're going to pay. You're going to put something out there that means something to you. Like you're saying, some people ain't going to like it. And that's just going to be the way it is.
Right.
Well, we're going to keep moving. We hit adversity. We learn to deal with it. We adjust as a man or woman or whatever. We adjust and we move forward. You know, I same thing when I had my neck surgery as a brown belt. I had that little, I guess I'm just going to ride off into the sunset, get my black belt in 20 years, be that guy. For a couple of days I had that.
Yeah.
Until I got up and looked in the mirror and I had to wash my face a little bit and go, you're in the same spot.
Yeah.
We're going to hit adversity head on. We're going to learn from it. We're going to make the adjustments. I got to make the adjustments that I got to make. And we're going to get better. And we're not going to quit. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, I think the online thing is kind of, for me, it's been, sometimes you'll want to like just not show all of yourself. Like you'll want to not open up completely. And then it's like, oh, maybe if I
think that's okay.
Because you're vulnerable.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think but I think that's wrong.
But own it.
Because you got to be, like Chewy, Chewy puts himself out there completely. He says, and that's
why he's
that's
so
good.
loved, though.
Right. And like for me, somebody that like has like little channel myself, and sometimes I'm like, man, what if somebody says something bad about something I did?
They're definitely going to.
And so you have to be like, am I going to continue? Am I going to just like be safe? Am I going to play it safe and do these things that really don't get a lot of attention one way or another? I guess it's good to get some negative attention as to get no attention. I think maybe that's better. Well, because you got people discussing, people actually give a shit. Nobody comments or says anything. Nobody really gives a shit.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
So I think, that's important. For me on a personal level, like learning myself is like just put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So you got people that are gonna say shit. Everybody's got a comment on the internet.
To me, it's just like to me like when there's like negative stuff, I just like try to own it. And what I mean like own it, like, so for instance, when I first started doing videos, like my tooth, it's broken, right? Got chipped. And you'd see people like make a comment, oh, dude, your tooth is fucked up. Well, your teeth are fucked. Your teeth
sure
are
is.
Sure, yeah, well, right. So, and for me, I'm like, I don't give a shit about my tooth. But you'd see it, like, what your tooth
Starts hurting your feelings after a while.
I'm just like, man, like, why do you guys care about the damn tooth? Like, I'm like, dude, like, if I get the damn thing replaced, I'm probably going to get knocked out because I'm always passing with my head forward. Like, it always gets hit. So I made a video, and I was like, hey, guys, so I started talking about how my tooth got chipped. And my little sister did it, right? And I started talking about all this stuff, and I was like, man, roast me. Give me your best. I was like, if you're man, if you're gonna make fun of it, dude, let's make it funny, make it good. I was like, roast me, and like there were some good ones. One guy said it looked like my tongue was staring at the camera through a tiny window. It was so good. I was like, because you own it. You know what I mean? So like, you can honestly, you can take those negative things like. Just like you're owning, like, I'm this little 5'8" dork, right? You're owning it. So it's like, I could be a 5'8" dork, but I'll rip someone's, like, leg or arm off, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but I'll own that, instead of trying to shy away from it. Like, this is me. Take it or leave it, for better or for worse, right?
Yeah.
So, you talk about an injury that you had. Have you ever, so you've had some thoughts about quitting before? Was it due to injury?
I've thought about quitting at every belt level. I've considered it.
Why?
Because it's hard.
Well, yeah.
And that's the easiest thing to do is quit.
Yeah.
So, Chael Sonnen said something on The Ultimate Fighter one time. He was one of the coaches during one of the, I don't remember.
Him and I think
Vanderlei, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he got in the fighter. I love
that.
He's like, I can't let you get close to me. I can't let you get, reach. I love that part. Anyway, Chael had the guys, he was sitting on the edge of the octagon after practice, and they were all kind of circled around him. And he was like, listen, guys. People are going to tell you that failure is not an option. And that's completely a lie. Not only is failure always an option, it's always the most readily available option. You can quit anytime you want, and all this can go away. All this pain you feel, how tired you are, how sore, how sick and tired you are showing up to practice and eating right, all of that can go away. All you got to do is quit. It's always the most readily available option. So yeah, dude, I've thought about quitting a lot, but just not going to do it.
Yeah. Was it primarily due
and that just comes from repetitions of not quitting.
Sure.
Now I'm not a quitter. But I used to be a quitter.
Yeah.
But now I got the hours. I'm not a quitter no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You put too much time in.
I don't know how anymore.
Yeah.
I'm you know what I mean? Like of course I'll quit things but I got a lot of repetition on not quitting. The muscle memory's on not quitting.
Right.
I have to actively quit something now. Like, all right, I'm quitting. This is garbage. This is not working out for me. You know.
Yeah, I think life can sometimes get in the way. Injuries can get in the way. I mean, you see
I've been injured.
I've
had 5 knee surgeries. I've had neck surgery. My left ankle don't work. Lower back issues.
What do you do? How do you train around it?
That's how I train around it, not through it.
Okay.
I used to train through it, pretend it wasn't there, and get hurt and injured and always sore and can't move and started thinking I'm old, you know. But the last couple of years I've really changed a lot. Like you can feel in the way I play, both of you guys. I have a real, I don't want to say it's like a soft touch, but I've accepting touch, like a yielding style of playing.
Yeah, so, you yield, but when it's time, then you go.
Yeah. Well, I'll yield until you put me in the spot that I was, one of the spots that my muscle memory clicks in, and I'll squirt through the hole or I'll snap my leg into the right spot, and here we go. But even then, I don't grab and push and pull, so I play a real loose game. So I've gotten to where I don't really even get that sore anymore, but I train a lot.
What do you do anything for like recovery? Any kind of?
I use the hot tub a lot. We thought I thought I was just getting it for my wife because she wanted a hot tub. But she trains too, and she's a brown belt, and she trains hard every week.
She's good.
She's good. She's good. Yeah. Especially for a little girl, she's pretty good, man. She's super athletic and strong. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No shit, her legs are good. I really, that was like the thing that stuck out. Like everything was good, but her leg control as she moved around with the butterfly hooks and stuff was very good.
Yeah, better than me right there, I think.
Yeah.
She does a lot of things better than me.
Has that been a motivator for you to continue to train?
Well, she was way better than me when we started. Like the first couple of years, maybe longer than that. She was much better than me, especially like overall as a martial artist. And the grappling was, I kind of like got zeroed in on that pretty early and started going, I'm gonna be a martial artist, but I'm a grappler.
Right.
I'm a grappling martial artist, And but yeah, it's been a motivator. I can't let her beat me up in front of everybody. And if I'm not careful, she'll do it.
Yeah.
And I can't let her just, I'm gonna play with you. You're a little girl. No, my wife will kill me. What were we saying right before that? What was I talking about?
That's good. Just like motivators for not quitting. What kind of things and injuries.
Oh yeah, I've had a
working right. You said injuries. You said you do hot tub is the main thing.
Hot tub. That's where we went. So I bought the hot tub for her, thinking we were just getting a hot tub. Like finally, we're not the brokest people we know anymore. Let's get a hot tub.
Moving on up, baby.
Yeah, the east side, and that turned out like that's been an incredible recovery tool for us. Been doing a lot of CBD.
Yeah,
CBD is amazing, man.
A lot. I've been going.
We talked about that last night. Yeah,
with that.
Hard in the paint with CBD.
Hard in the paint.
Yeah.
What do you like? Which type of CBD do you recommend?
I like the vape CBD.
Yeah.
I haven't got much experience with the topical, to be honest with you, but I like the vape is what I use the most.
Yeah, they say like you can really it really gets in your system really well. The using the vape.
I have no science to back it up. I have only my own anecdotal evidence, but I don't have it, right? Only my own anecdotal evidence, and I can say that I have 100% confidence in it as an anti-inflammatory.
100%, yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
I went on and off of it because
me too. That's why I feel like it's not a placebo.
I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Right. So I went on it, and then I did the topical stuff first, and the first time I ever used it, I had this really bad pull in my right in the rhomboid area, the rhomboid like upper back area, from my neck getting pulled on, and I was always hunched over. When I would warm up, I'd be fine, and then as soon as I get cold again, I was like, ugh. And I was at my desk one day reading and writing my journals and stuff, and then my girlfriend Jess goes, "Hey, is your back feeling okay?" And earlier that day, we'd rubbed some of that balm on there, and it was gone. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Weird, man.
It was gone. It was like all the pain was gone. And then so I started taking the CBD oil like with the little dropper.
The sublingual.
Man, dude, like I take it at nighttime, and I mean literally, dude, like I went on it for I guess it was like about a month, and I just noticed how chill I was, how like it leveled me out because I have a tendency to. I mean, I already speak really fast anyway, and I've been like I'm just all over the place. I'm excited, but it's like that energy where it can send me like if it gets too high, it's like I can get to like this like manic anxiety type thing going, right? So I have a tendency to like getting anxious, right? So this like leveled me out. I was like, holy shit, that was awesome. Like I used to just have to do this with like breathing and meditation all the time, which I still do, but this just does it automatically. And my sleep's been amazing, and like the lack of muscle soreness. I'm like,
it definitely makes me sleepy faster.
Oh, dude, like I take it like when I go to bed at night, and I have the best sleep. It's amazing. Like I used to, I don't, it's not that I wake up constantly, but I would wake up at least once every night. I'll sleep through the night 7-8 hours, and I'm just like out to the world. And I wake up and I feel amazing. I wake up and I'm like, all right, let's go grab the world by the nuts now. I'm refreshed, So it's and then when I came off of it, I noticed that some of those effects were leaving, and I was like, got back on it. The effects were back. I'm like, oh,
interesting.
Okay, I'll keep doing it.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. We were like reading about it and talking to some people about it. They said it actually has like the effect of it is so you start with maybe a higher dose and get it in your system, and then you can actually back off. Like after a month or two, you can actually get off to like a smaller
I would figure
dose.
it was the other way.
No, they say it's the opposite because it's like
they
say it's something with the endocannabinoid system. So there's like receptors and stuff.
No idea.
So there's receptors in your body and stuff that respond, and it helps with like
that.
inflammation and all that stuff. But if you get like a high, level of the CBD in initially, it kind of knocks some of that stuff, calms some of that stuff down. Then you just need a smaller, kind of like a maintenance dose.
Use the code Jiu-Jitsu Therapist to save on CBD.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
We're actually working on something, yeah.
So, like, my wife is big into it, and like the topical stuff, and like we've been taking the sublingual, every day. And honestly, man, I feel good. Like I feel like
at this point,
anxiety-wise for me, sometimes I'll overthink things. I'm easier. I kind of think more clearly. But I've done some other stuff too. I do the deep breathing. I do sauna.
You get into that Wim Hof stuff, player?
Not really.
I got that app on my phone. I don't really use it.
No, I haven't done it. I'm not there. No,
I want to. I just.
Man, but there's so many ways to breathe. That's not the only way to when you say deep breathing.
I think he even says that.
I mean, because that's one type of
breath in. That's all that matters.
That's one type of deep breathing, but there's different ways to do it.
Well, the way that I learned it. So you actually mentioned training. You saw me training with Hickson.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to train with Hickson at every belt level.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Man.
I never trained in the gi anywhere. I'll be finding out where Hickson's at, and I'll go find him. But he was showing us he does his breathing. It's the exact opposite of Wim Hof. To move with what you're saying. Mm-hmm. He focuses on the get off the mic there. On the exhale, like flexing the abdomen. And Wim Hof is saying we just go only focus on the inhale.
Yeah.
Which will make me pass out real fast.
Well, you're causing
hyperventilation.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's cool. I don't think there's one way. Obviously, the diaphragmatic breathing with your diaphragm is really important for like efficiency, and also that helps. The breathing
helps me on the mat so much.
It has a calming effect. There's a fight or flight system, and there's like the other one, the parasympathetic system, which more like the calming, and actually stimulates that parasympathetic system, so it really gets you to kind of chill out.
Well, sure. Well, there's a guy one time that came into the gym he's like, man, I feel like I'm about to have a panic attack. Like he was having something going on.
For real.
Yeah, he was like freaking out. And I was like, come here with me. So I had him do this deep breathing where we focused on deep breathing deep into the lower abdomen, and I like had him walking him through it. I was like, do this for 2 minutes. He sat over there for about 3-4 minutes, and he came back over. He's like, I feel better.
Yeah.
Because of the effect that the breathing does on the body.
It's huge, man. It's all right there too. Like if you look at healthcare and stuff like that, everything's going back to like the roots, like the natural stuff.
That's
like
pretty cool.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody like wants less medication, less all the synthetic stuff. They want more natural. CBD's natural. It's all occurring in the environment. It's all and it's effective. I think same thing with food. People want less shit in their food. They want organic, less chemicals. Everything's just going to that, and food's a huge thing. As far as recovery, we've talked about that all the time.
I'm the worst person.
Man,
you are what you eat, man.
You were drinking that diet, whatever it was.
Love it.
Oh man,
Love it.
It's like
straight love it.
There's a
I
reason.
know I'm supposed to lift. I know I'm supposed to do cardio. I know I'm supposed to eat right. I just want to do jiu-jitsu.
But your jiu-jitsu's
I'm
good
just
though.
gonna do
Jiu-jitsu's
jiu-jitsu.
pretty good, man.
That's all. I've proven that to myself at this point.
See,
I'm just gonna do jiu-jitsu.
Brandon, how old are you?
38.
See, yeah. Wait, give it a couple more years, man.
Yeah, people keep saying that.
You're gonna be
I was
like,
supposed to be
all
that
right.
with 34, and then it was 35, and then it was 38.
Man, I
think I'm gonna be 75 years old learning laps
a big
around
thing,
California.
honestly. I'll tell you, a big thing of why you're probably still because you haven't stopped. You train every day, and your body's so accustomed to that.
I'm more likely to
grind.
get sore from not training.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, dude, I know. I'll stop training for a couple days.
Go to Six Flags, ruin my life.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We had season passes to Six Flags. We kept taking the kids.
Walking
over.
on the damn
It's like,
concrete.
oh my
Yeah.
god, what is wrong? I'm
Or-
so stupid.
Hey, you guys were talking about getting hurt at a competition. I'll tell you, the most sore I've been from a competition in the last couple of years was when I was coaching at Cincinnati last year. I competed the morning of. It was a good, quick match, no problem. Good, flawless victory. And then afterwards, I was coaching for like 8 hours. Dude, my knees and ankles and everything was just sore from having to stand and coach and be walking around all day long. It's rough.
I said I don't never get hurt in competition. I did get hurt one time.
What'd you do?
Your heart. It was your heart.
No, it was my ankle. Nathan Orchard put me in a leg lock in Atlanta one time, and I couldn't walk for like 2 days.
No,
it ended up being fine. There was no injury.
Yeah.
It was just I was hurt.
Pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even pop.
No.
It just
Stretch those ligaments out.
hurt so bad. It hurt so bad. He calls it the exit wound. It's from that top side Ashi. The only leg lock position we didn't cover today, that we didn't touch on today. It's from there, and he does it. It's like a far side straight ankle lock.
Uh-huh.
Dude.
Did you just not tap in time?
Oh no, I tapped him plenty of time.
Okay. It's
I did too. I did another match or two after that. I can't remember
wow.
exactly, but another couple of matches after that. Didn't even notice it. And then me and Nathan are hanging out that night and the next morning.
And all of a sudden.
Yeah, because we're team. He's one of Eddie's black belts.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Portland.
yeah.
Or he's in Seattle now.
Okay.
Have you ever trained with Nathan? Have you ever met
No,
him?
I haven't. I've seen him roll before.
Man,
Tough dude.
I always tell people he threw me into an existential crisis when I was a brown belt. So I was like, this is the first time I had rolled with him. He was already a black belt, and maybe a little overconfident.
Thought you were pretty good.
I was pretty
Yeah.
good. I thought I was. I had a track record that said I was pretty good. I'm either gonna have to get a lot better, or I need to just quit. After I rolled with Nathan, like, good grief, what just happened to me? So didn't quit. Just chose
There's
to
a
get
lot of
better.
levels. I mean, there's a lot of levels to jiu-jitsu. There's a lot of levels of black belt and brown belt.
I closed the gap on him, but he's still a terrifying man.
Well, and it's when you roll with those people that you don't, like, sometimes you don't realize how good some people are. And then when you roll with them, you're like, okay, I need to step it up. You know what I mean? Like, I had that feeling like the first time I remember I went down to train my buddy Sean Hammonds. And,
I've heard that he's just incredible.
Yeah, and man, this is like, I went down there and rolled with him because, obviously he's getting older now. He's still a tough as shit, and he's a great coach. But at the time, he was kind of in his heyday. He's in there like, took second at Worlds and all this stuff against Fringina, real tough dude. And I remember the first time we rolled, I got him with a double leg, blast double leg, took him off his feet. And he was like, you could tell he was like, okay. Got back up and he beat the brakes off me. You know what I mean? And then like I rolled with all those guys and like all those guys were super tough. And I'm just like fighting for my lives against some of these purple belts. I'm a brown belt at the time. And I remember I was like a new brown belt and I was like, shit, man. Like I told my buddy, I was like, dude, I wanted to basically like, I just need to like take this damn brown belt off because I suck. And,
that's the way I felt after rolling Nathan.
And then, but again, just like that, I was like, well, I left and I was like, well, that was what they felt like, so I need to replicate that. So I would go down there and train with Sean, like every month I'd go down there and train with Sean and go there and learn some stuff. And I'd come back and teach it to the guys and like try to replicate some of the things that he was doing with our guys so we could like toughen up and get stronger. We did. But again, when you roll with those people and you realize what's going on, then you're like, oh, there's another gear there. I need to find out how to tap into that and get there. So
yeah, that's why rolling with other people outside the gym is so important. To me, you're asking if you do I feel like you need to compete. I think you should, but let's say you just don't want to, then you should go train at somebody else's gym every weekend. Roll with the instructor in front of his boys. That'll be about the same as competing for most people. Like, because he ain't gonna let you tap him in front of his dudes. I can promise you that. You know.
yeah,
I mean, he might not try to kill you, but he ain't gonna let you just slop him around in front of his dudes.
Right.
That's a guarantee.
Right.
So you'll get to feel all kinds of different games. Just show up at somebody's gym every weekend. Different experiences, and I get to do that now. I get to teach seminars all over the world at this point. And so I get a different look. Like I get to look at you this weekend. I get to look at you this weekend, and I get to wherever I can't even remember where I just came from. Where was I? Los Angeles this last weekend, and then
you were in Ireland a while ago.
Ireland, England, Brazil, whatever.
That's
Oklahoma,
awesome.
God forbid, Connecticut. You know, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. You really enjoy. What's probably your favorite part about seminars? Teaching seminars now? Anything in particular?
When everybody says nice things about me, that's my favorite part. Getting paid at the end of the day. Nice things said about me. No, I mean I just like being on the mat with everybody.
Yeah.
I like when I can call somebody to go. Like have that
The aha moment.
Yeah.
I really like it when I can have a good guy do that. Like today, where I was over there after we broke out.
You moved my damn
And
my
I moved
hand
you.
like 2 inches. I was like, huh.
And your eyes lit up like you were a little kid.
Oh, dude, I was like that because I was like, dude, this is dope. It's like because it's something. Once I saw it, I was like, oh, this completely makes sense. It's at the end of the lever. But when we did it, I'm like, so this heel hook goes from not feeling too comfortable to my knee's going to explode.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, wow, that's
with no real
with no power
tension change in your body, just an adjustment.
Yeah.
To the position.
That was good.
That's the kind of jiu-jitsu that makes me excited the most.
Right.
So I want nothing but that. Like I want every movement through our connection from the moment we slap hands to feel like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's possible, but I need probably 30,000 more hours. But I'm planning on putting them in.
There we go.
So
Yeah, that's definitely when I see a seminar or I go to a seminar, you want that like we talked about, that one moment.
that big sexy moment right there.
One big sexy moment, you're like, oh, all right. So I can instantly implement this in my game and it instantly be effective.
Yeah.
That one tweak or that one adjustment is going to get this position where I maybe go back to that position that left a while ago and was like, it's not effective for me, but then go back to it because now you have
I like to give
a new toy.
More than anything, I like to give an idea that I think is going to permeate the way that you see the whole game. Whether that's from a leg lock or the bottom of mount or side control or whatever, I want to give you some new way to see weight distribution or balance or leverage that's going to be universally applied to the rest. It's going to make you go, oh, that we're in the matrix. You know what I mean? I want you to have that moment off of something. And so we may come in, and I tell the guys this at the gym, tonight we may be studying heel hooks. That may be the subject matter. But the course of study is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And what I'm going to teach you tonight about heel hooks, I expect you to apply this new knowledge that you have of weight distribution, leverage, balance, patience, of the true, what I consider the fundamentals, the philosophies, the fundamental philosophies. You're going to take your new understanding of those things that I just gave you from the heel hook, and you're going to apply that to your mount defense. And you're going to apply that to your side control escapes. And you're going to apply that to your arm bar from the closed guard, whatever. So we're studying heel hooks, but we're leveling up our jiu-jitsu in every position tonight.
Awesome.
It's like the law of gravity kind of applies to everything. Unless you're Eddie Bravo, then
there's
no,
no
gravity,
amount
right?
of gravity that can ever apply.
I'm kidding.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's Q&A.
Let's do some Q&A.
All right, we got a little time. Let's do it.
So we're gonna do some Q&A. So I'm gonna look through some of these questions. If you guys have something that you guys want to throw out now, go listen in. We'll do it for a few minutes here, and then get going. God, they put so much stuff in there.
Did you get a lot of questions?
Oh yeah. Let's see here.
He's got like 500 questions to sort through.
Yeah, we
It's
have
pretty
100 people
impressive.
Let's see.
It's so funny.
Oh, is it live right now?
Yeah, it's live right now.
So what's it live on?
It's live on YouTube. It's so funny. It's so funny. They say, "Can you?" Everybody wants to know about, like, obviously it's always about marijuana with because of thin plant. Like, to me, like, man, like there's so much worse.
What, like CBD and marijuana?
No, they were just asking about, because obviously 10th Planet and Eddie Bravo. They're like, what about weed? Who cares? Like, who cares about marijuana?
How you feel about it?
I think at this
Have you ever done the marijuana plant with Eddie Bravo?
At this point, like, it's legal in so many places that, like, Eddie was talking about it the other day on Rogan's show, and he was like, oh, no, it wasn't at Rogan's show. It was at the holiday party. He was talking about, I used to be a really big advocate for weed, but, so I don't really say nothing about it no more.
Don't have to.
Because it's kind of just accepted that it's, not only is it not bad for you like we thought, at least.
Right.
But it's probably good for you in ways that we didn't understand.
Here's the thing I say about it, like,
just gotta be responsible.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, like, the thing I would say, man, is like, I remember, having family members that were drinkers, like alcoholic drinkers, right?
Yes.
And I remember when we'd have family get-togethers, like, they'd start getting angry and they want to fight each other and all this aggressive stuff.
Best case scenario, they're just too loud to handle.
Exactly, best case. But then, like, one more drink, and then all of a sudden they're ready to. I mean, they didn't get in fights. And then I remember I had a relative that partook in marijuana. He'd go out to the he
liked to fight.
Nah, man. The only thing that would piss me off about him is because he'd eat all my Funyuns, right?
That's worse.
But damn, but he'd go out to the garage and just chill. He'd go out there and, like, do his thing and like, hey man, where's your Funyuns? Can you get some? I just said Funyuns,
Funyuns is so long.
But
that's the ones when they said it half baked. It's like, get some
Funyuns.
It is my weird phone.
We were just watching. Have you seen those last two? Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I did.
Stand. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I
love him. He's
so clever, man. Oh, I love it. There's some kind of YouTube comment battle going on.
I saw. Here's one from the fridge. You'll appreciate this comment. It's just a comment. It says, Brandon is such a good guy. Rolled with him a few times, and he's terrifying.
Who's that?
It says it's from the fridge.
The fridge.
I don't know.
I'm glad I made a guy named the fridge
terrified.
Feel afraid. I love you, the fridge.
Here we go. Because, I mean, obviously this might be one for you, because this one comes from David Kimmel. It says, Chewy, how do I trick my wife into trying jiu-jitsu? She has supported me through my journey, but I can't get her to roll. And David, I would be more than happy to give you what I think could help, but I'm having trouble getting my girlfriend on the mats with me, so I don't really have a good answer for you, brother.
My wife got me on the mats with her.
But because you guys have been together this whole time, have you ever had a situation where, like, maybe you had a guy or a woman who was trying to get their significant other on the mats with them, and they were successful at doing that, or is it usually
not really? To be honest with you, I just feel like you can't really convince somebody to do something they don't want to do.
Yeah,
you can exhibit, and show the benefits that it's had in your own life. And that's probably the best sermon that somebody can hear.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But if you just want to stand, like, what's the best sermon that I can preach to her to make her understand that it's important? You can't say anything that's going to work.
Absolutely.
You just got to exhibit, like, look what jiu-jitsu has done for me. Look how much I'm helping around the house, honey.
Yeah.
Look how organized I'm becoming and how disciplined I'm becoming. Don't you want to eat a little healthier too? Mm-hmm. Don't you want to have a nice exercise? Look how nice I am when I get back from class. I'm not stressed out. Isn't that great? Wouldn't you like to have, you know what I mean?
Being the bright light, just like the moths that fly towards the light because it's so bright, right? Like, make your light shine bright so that other people see it and they're just attracted to it.
The city that is set on a hill, so to speak, from the Old New Testament. But you don't have to listen to that if you don't want to. You can just read it and learn from it.
Yeah.
Or you can listen to it all the way. I don't care.
I got a question.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that I've spoken to before. This is for Chewy. This is both of you guys. Chewy, what do you think about Kurt Oceander drunk high on the mats, swearing every other word?
It's not my way.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's the same for here, man. I'm not, to each their own.
I think he's got his own style, and he everybody, like you said, everybody's got their own way of teaching jiu-jitsu.
Only thing I think it's interesting who people choose to idolize and villainize. Mm-hmm. And we were talking with Eddie a little earlier. he's been villainized quite a bit over the years.
Who's that?
Eddie Bravo.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For some of the same stuff that Kurt is idolized for.
Yeah.
Like, we love Kurt. He's brash. He's a rebel. He does things his own way. He drinks. He does it. These are the same things that you just said you hated Eddie Bravo for.
Yeah.
I do find that that's interesting.
Yeah, he's going his own way.
There's no chance that I'm going to sit here as an Eddie Bravo black belt and criticize Kurt Osiander's behavior, right? There's no chance that that's going to happen. But I do think it's interesting to watch how we pick and choose based on what it's based on.
You like people because you want to like them. You'll hate someone because you want to hate them.
That's
You'll find a reason.
It doesn't have anything to do with what you say it's about.
You'll rationalize it however you want to.
Yeah, or you'll hate that guy for the same thing that you love this guy for. It's clearly not about the thing you say it's about. You're in a tribe, and that's okay, but you need to be aware that you're in a tribe, dude.
Well, to me, I've started to ask the question. If something bothers me from someone, let's say someone does something and it bothers me, before I ever start to laugh out at something, which I don't do, but I'll ask myself, why does that bother me? Like, what is it in me that bothers me? Is there a little bit of that in me? You know what I mean? Is there some trait that he is, displaying that is inside of me that I don't like? Is there, you know what I mean? Like, is it because it has to come from me? Like, nothing can enter me unless I allow it to. So it has to be something that's touching me somewhere that I'm like, there's some of that in me, and I need to be mindful of that. If it's something I don't like, or
probably true.
Or maybe I'm jealous that he's going his own way and he's doing certain things, right? Like,
he's a trailblazer. I want to be a trailblazer.
Right, I want to be a trailblazer too. I want to invent my own style, and I want to take the gi off, but I can't. Right?
My coach said I can't.
My coach said I can't. I got to wear the damn thing. So you're stupid. You know what I mean? You got to figure out, where's that coming from in you. Why do you have the desire to lash out at someone? Because there's something in you that's making you do that. It's not something simply because of them.
Yeah.
Right. So.
I met Kurt. He was very, very nice to me when I met him. So I don't have anything.
Yeah, I've met him once. He was very nice. So.
I talked to him before on a podcast, and it was. Yeah. He was great.
Yeah.
I just think his style's not gonna, just like not everybody's gonna be.
Bro, it ain't gonna work out too well in Kentucky and North Alabama. Maybe in Louisville, because y'all have a real city.
Yeah.
But like the rest of Kentucky, he ain't gonna run a very successful gym there, and he ain't gonna run a successful one in my town like that. Probably, but there may be more people that like that.
Right.
Than I think.
But I think, is he like that all the time? Does he adjust to maybe kids classes or something like that? Is he doing? Probably.
I'm betting he doesn't teach kids classes himself.
Maybe not.
Yeah, Eddie doesn't. Eddie's like, no, I'm not the guy to teach kids classes.
Yeah,
and he's right.
Yeah,
he's not the guy to teach kids
classes.
It's
same
you
thing.
have him at the gym.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. Like, okay, if your instructor smokes weed or doesn't, whatever. Does it matter?
Chances are he does.
Well, does it matter? Does it make a difference?
It's a pretty good chance.
It doesn't make a difference if they're not like telling you to smoke weed or telling you to do. It's kind of, they can do what they want as long as they're on the mats and they're presenting.
I just feel like that's such a benign topic at this point. Like that argument about whether or not it's acceptable to do.
Depends on the person.
It's the same as the argument about whether or not you can have a beer at dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we want to have that argument, then let's have it.
Sure.
About you should never have any kind of intoxication. Like, you want to have that argument, let's have it. And maybe, if that's what you believe, okay.
Yeah.
But do not let me catch you drinking a cup of coffee. Don't let me catch you putting drugs in your body, like coffee and alcohol.
Yeah, caffeine's a drug.
And caffeine's a much more dangerous drug.
I love coffee,
than
man.
marijuana. As far as you can die from caffeine. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't care. People do what they want. But what I don't like is hypocrisy. Like, I'm going to plant this flag in the ground, and then you can make that same exact argument about this, but that's not this flag, so I don't
demonize someone else for the same thing.
For the same thing.
You put people
that drives me
for,
nuts. That drives me nuts. I don't care if you like marijuana or don't. I don't care if you smoke or don't, drink or don't. That's you. Like you said, that's on you. It's not my way necessarily, but dude, at this point, if there's something like 70-something% of Americans want cannabis legalized, like, just turn it loose.
Well,
the people want that.
Well, even me, I don't smoke, but like you just look at it, you're like, wait a second. Even especially when you look at the history behind it, you're like, come on, guys, this is stupid. It's illegal at this point for arbitrary reasons.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like
it's a political fight.
It's a political fight, right?
And, okay, fine. Can we just admit that though?
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
No,
but it gets back to tribalism.
I know.
People have been brainwashed a certain way, and they don't want to accept.
We're all in a tribe. But it's the awareness that I think I look at the world through this lens. That's huge. Like, I think we all need to be able to have that.
You have to question what you think. You have to. I think everybody needs to do this. Like, if you think something, you need to question why you think that.
And listen to people who don't think that way.
Exactly. Like, why is that? Like, well, why would you not think that? Right? Like, okay. Like, I mean, because again, there's when you start to question things, then you have to go. Like, it's one of the cool things that even with this teaching jiu-jitsu, someone will say, like, when I was first teaching, they'll say, well, hey, why does this work? And early on, I'd be like, I don't know. So let me think about that for a while. Let me come back to you on that one. And I'll start to have to like dig down into it. And then when you do the same thing with like your own like views on things, if you feel so strongly about something that you feel like you have to like, get it out there to the world, well, why do you think that? Figure that out before you start telling someone else that they're wrong because you think it's this way. Because you better be like know where they're coming from and try to see it from their eyes too, so you can figure out, okay, well, maybe they're not wrong. Maybe it's just a little different or whatever.
Don't you feel like a lot of times that hardcore like dogmatism and passion, I feel like a lot of times that comes from insecurity as well. Like not being secure in the thing that you're actually planting the flag on. I think so too.
It's all about being scared of what's on the other side.
Yeah, and I hate to paint with such a broad brush because I'm certain that's not always the case,
of course,
right?
Of course.
But it does feel, and I'm not the most experienced dude in the world, but I'm closing in on 40 pretty fast. As I've seen it a few times at this point. Like, that feels like insecurity most of the time.
Well, so you're approaching.
I know it has been in my life.
Well, it is. Yeah. You're approaching a situation from fear instead of love.
Yeah.
Like fear of something instead of love for the other person.
And fear has a function.
It does.
But it shouldn't be our first reaction.
But it shouldn't guide your actions towards those things.
Not
right?
all
like,
of them, at least.
Because if you're letting fear run the roost and all the time, like it's a problem. So.
Yeah, I think I agree with that too, man.
All right. Wow. It was deep.
You done?
We're getting deep.
Tapping out?
No, man.
Two hours.
I thought you
were
were
like
quitting.
146.
146.
We've been going. Any more questions? All right, Brandon. Let's see. If people want to get in contact with you, or they want to get a seminar from you and learn the ways.
The way
of.
No way.
Jiu-Jitsu.
The way of no way. That's
whatever
what I call
it
the
is.
episodes on my website. Okay. The way of no way.
All right. If they want to get in contact with you to learn from you, how do they do that?
www.brandonmc.ninja. So lots of my seminars, lots of one-off videos, and almost all of my classes that I teach at the gym are there on that site. It's $5 a month. Right now it's $5 a month.
Nice.
I'm jumping it up in January, but right now it's $5 a month. My Instagram has got free stuff every day, brandonmc.ninja. My Facebook, same thing, brandonmc.ninja.
If they can't get...
Oh, and my podcast, too. I got a podcast.
What do you call your podcast?
B-Max Audio Adventure.
B-Max Audio Adventure.
What is it about?
I don't know.
Anything?
Yeah.
That's why it's an adventure.
Jiu-Jitsu. Most of them at this point are these BJJ 365 episodes. So 10 minutes, 20 minutes of just my thoughts on competition anxiety or arm bars from the guard.
Nice.
Or what you should not eat the day before you compete or whatever.
Chili.
Yeah. There's a good example. It's a man speaking from experience right there. That was some suffering in his eyes.
No, see, the other day, I just had chili the other day. One of my buddies, his wife makes amazing food, and so he's like, "Hey man, we'll bring some chili." And I don't eat that. I don't eat beans very often or anything like that. So I'm like, but I gotta eat it.
I despise beans.
But I gotta eat it though, man, because it's delicious. I know she makes good food. So I'm like, she was like in culinary school, so like I gotta eat it. So it was delicious. But then the next day, like I get up and I couldn't sleep at all that night. Like when I because my diet is so like
very regimented.
Yeah, very regimented, very routine. So that like when I eat like crazy stuff that it's not used to, my body like when I try it screws my sleep up. So the next
what about them tacos we got last night?
Those were okay. It was okay.
The realm.
That was in the realm. It was like meat and stuff. It wasn't too bad, But man, that night I finally got up early in the morning and I started to work, and then I came to the gym and thought I had to just let one rip a little bit, and I had to find my way to the bathroom because about to poop myself.
Yeah.
So I was like, stay away from the chili. Day before.
Good call.
Hey, fun game when we roll. If you get the other person to fart during the roll, we just give you 5 points. We just say 5 points.
Oh,
it can be 100 points.
The game at our gym is if you get caught in a twister, you got to buy the guy a burrito.
Oh, all right.
So that's a good rule. Y'all should put that one in. You can make a little board where you can write people's names on it.
Choose like a submission for the gym. All right, if you get someone in the submission, we go over to the Mexican place to get a burrito. All right.
It's a standing rule, standing house rule. You get caught in a twister, you are buying a burrito.
I'm going to put someone in a twister every damn day. But here, man, let's go buy a burrito. Actually, no.
You tried to put me in a twister the other day.
I know.
That's cold-blooded. He tried to put me in. He used the twister hook to take my back today. Sorry, sucker.
He's good at that stuff.
He is good at that. He did it to Scaff, too. I watched him. And then I was like, I ain't going to let him do that to me. So anyway, he does that to me. It's exactly the same way.
He does a lot of what he wants.
Forced me to turtle up.
That was the only thing. It's the only thing I could get. Everything else was off the table. I was like, "What is this fucking guy?"
I survived.
Like things
by the
were
skin of my teeth.
Everything even in. So,
all right. Chew, you got anything?
Got anything?
Anything on the horizon? You got a seminar coming up, don't you?
Got a seminar in West Virginia. If you go to the Jiu-Jitsu Facebook page, you can check that out. We're setting that up, going there to do a seminar. It's going to be cool. And then be on the lookout for some new stuff coming out, some new merch. We're going to do some rash guards, and we're going to do some new shirts and stuff. Check those out. And as always, if you guys really enjoyed this thing, you should go subscribe and do all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Because we enjoy doing it, and it just lets us know that.
Do you say stuff like, smash that subscribe button?
Smash that subscribe button. Like it. Be on the notification squad. And if you guys listen to this on the podcast, on the actual iTunes thing, please give us a review. We really appreciate it, and it helps us keep doing this damn thing.
Yes. Brandon, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for
hey, I'm doing commentary for EBI.
Oh, cool.
On December the 9th.
Right,
EBI
nice,
18.
nice.
EBI 18. So y'all listen to that. I'll be on Fight Pass. Listen for that.
That's
awesome.
You can hear Brandon's sultry voice
The
on
sultry
Fight Pass.
redneck tones of Brandon Mccaghren.
Are you going to wear a cowboy hat?
I'm not.
You should.
He's from Alabama.
I'm getting me a suit done up.
Alabama's not a cowboy hat.
I'm not a cowboy.
What are those things people wear?
I'm the worst redneck ever. I sound like I would be a great redneck. You might even be tempted to think I'm a real man, but I'm the worst, least manly dude. I don't know. It's true, man.
We gotta get your wife in here, ask her about
that. I bring her, ask her. She's the dude in the house. She kills the spiders, she fixes the stuff. I fix the food. There's no.
That's awesome.
She's the real man.
At least you admit it. That's all right.
Listen, I'm at peace with it. She's hot, so it works for me.
That's awesome, dude. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you next time for another episode of the Chewjitsu podcast.
Thanks, guys.
That was fun.
Get to that. We still live. Don't say anything.
Oh,
You're on the
I'm gonna
internet.
say bad things about
Chewy.
Chewy.
I can move, Chewy.
He can't move. How can I share that live?
It's on there.
YouTube.